Stage 2 for the Blitz Fair auction has been released, and we've got 7 new tanks in front of us, ranging from the Object 260, T28 medium, all the way down to the Predator. In today's video, I'll be breaking into all these vehicles, talking about their strengths, weaknesses, and how much gold I would personally recommend if you wanted to pick them up. Not only that, but I will also be later this week breaking into the additional vehicles that have been added to the auctions, because there are 2 or even sometimes 3 new vehicles added every day for about like 4 days. I'm hoping that some new takes will come out, but I guess we'll see. Either way, let's go over the start bidding, and here we are taking a look at the auction vehicles. So what do we have in front of us? Emil 1951 is the first I guess we're taking a look at, and this vehicle is currently 8,500 gold. I have seen the Emil 1951 hit stores for 8,500 gold, just as a base price tag, so this is not cheap at all, but if it does get cheaper, I would say that it's actually a really, really good pickup. I don't remember how many times the price dropped. It was like 3 times, I think, maybe 4. If the Emil goes down to about, I would say, 7,000 to 6,500 gold, 100% pick it up. The vehicle features an insane gun with really good penetration for a heavy. It's got great mobility, reaching a top speed of 40. It reverses very fast, just like the Tech Tree Swedish heavies. The vehicle features super solid hull-down armor, about 220 mils of armor on flat ground, and then the turret goes to about 241 hull down. It's not strong enough to bounce premium shells from a lot of heavies, but it's still good enough that the majority of AP, even from higher tiered opponents, will bounce right off the vehicle. It's just a super fun, very flexible heavy. It's one of my highest win rate tier 8s, and that's just because of how strong it is. So definitely would recommend you at least think about picking up the Emil 1951. It's a fantastic heavy. Object 260, do not pick it up. I'm just going to say it now. If you end up buying this tank and you don't like it, at least you did not hear it from me. So, yeah, I personally cannot recommend to pick up the Object 260. It is just not a incredibly fun, nor is it really a good tank. I mean, the armor's all right, but it just doesn't have the pen that you would want on a tier 10 heavy. It doesn't have the accuracy that a lot of other heavies with similar style guns have. Just play a WZ-113. You'll have the same damage per minute, in fact more, if you're running even Cali, and you'll also have much more pen. You'll have similar mobility, much more armor. I don't know. If the tank goes down to maybe 12k, I would consider it, but I just can't personally recommend picking up the Object 260. Predator Ultramarine. This is actually a pretty solid tank. Like, I know it looks kind of goofy, but it features a pretty solid gun. A 3-shell autoloader with like 240 damage a shot, which is pretty nice. It's got a very fast interclip. It does have some downsides, though. It's pretty easy to penetrate. It doesn't have much armor on the sides or the rear, and its front, while it has some armor, isn't great. I do think it has 7 degrees of gun depression, which is alright, but yeah, overall, the vehicle's really nothing incredible, but it is a pretty solid vehicle for what the gun is. I would say that 4,000 gold or less is a decent pickup. I mean, that's fairly inexpensive for a tier 7, so not too bad there. Now we arrive at the T28 medium. Now you'll notice that the 260 is lowering by 1,000 gold a day, and the T28 medium is lowering by 500 gold a day. So while these vehicles are starting off at the same price tag, they are obviously changing in their price quite drastically. The T28 medium is still a strong vehicle. It will always be a strong tank. But I can't imagine there's that many people that don't already own the T28 medium, judging that Wargaming sells this tank literally every single year. The T28 features a solid gun in terms of damage per minute. It's got really good mobility, really, really good armor, and a turret that is still nearly impervious for the majority of tier 10s to cut through. So yeah, the T28 is a very, very strong vehicle. But it's also a vehicle that, if you overaggress, can very easily get stripped out of the gameplay just because of how old it is compared to a lot of the newer vehicles. I would say probably 13,000 to 12,500 gold is not a bad deal for this tank. 15,000 is already pretty decent because you normally don't see vehicles like this reaching the stores unless it's about 20k. So I would definitely say if this is a vehicle that you've been wanting to pick up, that you've been waiting for, it's a solid choice and not a bad shout at all. Okay, we arrive to the final 3. Starting off, we have the Kampfpanzer 70. I love this tank. Unfortunately, it's really not lowering in price tag. Look at how lame that drop is. Next price, 97.50. I mean, that's 250 gold less. That's nothing. So a little disappointing there, but I mean, if the tank gets down to 9,000 gold, I would definitely recommend to pick it up. It's still an incredibly fun vehicle, and judging that gold is so cheap this time of the year, you can still get it fairly inexpensive than it would be normally. So I still think the Kampfpanzer, out of all the vehicles in the auction currently, I think the Kampfpanzer and the Emil 1951 are the two most fun by far. I'm actually a little disappointed in the vehicles that we currently have in the auction here, because a lot of them are kind of just like, eh. But yeah, the Emil and Kampfpanzer are pretty strong, so I think the KPZ, especially with the 560 Alpha, great penetration, good mobility, fantastic armor, is just such a good vehicle overall. Plus, it looks amazing. So yeah, definitely would recommend to pick this vehicle up. Move on to the AMX Canon d'Assaut 105, otherwise known as the CDA. This tier 8 French tank destroyer is, it's alright. I mean, it's got troll armor. It's got a gun that's okay. I mean, it's got decent DPM. It's basically, what if I took a 30B gun and put it on a tier 8 tank destroyer? It's a replica of the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105. Personally, I like the Kanonen better. It has much less armor, but it trades the armor for a much better gun. This vehicle has a little bit more armor. In fact, its upper plate's about 160 to 70, depending on where you shoot. You can actually get some bounces. But it's still not good armor, and it trades that to have a slightly worse gun than the Kanonen. It's still a fun tank, it's actually pretty mobile, and I mean, it's alright. I know Meadsy really likes it. I just personally think it's a pretty lackluster vehicle in the terms of Blitz. I would say it's not a bad price tag, though. I mean, it's dropping 500 gold a day, so 6,000 gold is not bad at all. I don't know how many of these started off. I would guess maybe 2,500. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pickup. I would definitely say for 6,000 gold, get it. It's cheap, but I would highly recommend to pick up the Emil 1951 before you get the Kanonen Assault. And then we finish off with the T28 Defender. The T28 Defender is 7,500 gold. I can tell you already, once again, pick up the Emil 1951 any day of the week before you pick up the T28 Defender. It's just better than the T28 Defender. But if you are still planning on getting this vehicle, I would wait till it's about 6,500 gold. It's really not that exciting of a take. It's very slow, and it used to have a lot of HP, but then Wargaming buffed all the hit points of heavies, and that charade kind of fell apart. I mean, it still has a decent chunk. It's just not nearly as much as the rest. The vehicle features alright damage output. It's got a 3-shell autoloader and a pretty long intraclip of like 6 or something seconds. It's just not really that special of a vehicle. It used to be strong when it was released, but power creep has set in, and with the newer autoloaders like the Borask, T77, and, you know, Skoda T27, all these new vehicles, it just kind of defeats the purpose of this take. So it's strong, but I don't think it's really that strong. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and let me know what you guys think about the auction takes. As I would say, I would just recommend trying to look at the Emil, Kampfpanzer 70, maybe T22, and apart from that, yeah, I can't really say the rest are all that good. So half of them are good, half of them are pretty mediocre. We'll have to see what vehicles get added in the future. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.